Jordy and I were very lucky to fall pregnant not too long after we got married. Didn't have any dramas in our first trimester, went absolutely perfect. At our 20-week scan is when I guess the first sign of something was off. Our baby was measuring a little bit small. At the end of the appointment, my blood pressure was 140 over 110. On the Sunday, I think it spiked to 150 and 160 in the space of an hour.
Our OB texted us and said, you should probably go to hospital. That kind of edge of, we should probably start taking this very seriously, started to kind of creep up on us.
So we drove to Prince of Wales Private, because I was actually a private patient. They said, we're actually going to move you next door to the Royal Hospital for Women. And I think Jordan and I were both very confused. We were like, we're private patients. Isn't this where the best care is? Our OB, he said that private hospital doesn't actually deliver babies under 28 weeks. The first alarm bells were going off. What do you mean? My baby's going to come before 28 weeks. I was 23 weeks and 3 days. We never, ever, ever thought that I wouldn't be going home.
So Megan developed preeclampsia extremely early in her pregnancy. Usually this is a problem of late pregnancy where women develop high blood pressure. But in Megan's case, she developed it incredibly early. Probably less than 1% of people with preeclampsia get it that early. And we've got a specialised blood test that we can do here at the Royal Hospital for Women that is very helpful for predicting preeclampsia in early pregnancy or helping us diagnose preeclampsia in later pregnancy.
It completely blindsided us, but I think at that moment we started to meet the team who would guide us through this journey.
So Megan had treatment by a whole range of clinicians, maternal fetal medicine, her private obstetrician, obstetric medicine, anaesthetics, but we were really monitoring the baby to see when was birth recommended for mother reasons or baby reasons. It's a very fine balance when you've got babies that are very early. Every single day matters in terms of survival.
Although we were very scared at what was happening, we felt very safe in the fact that we had an incredible team of experts.
We can only protect the mother from high blood pressure, monitor her and the baby very carefully, and continue this ongoing assessment of which incubator is best, mother or our nursery. And we were making those decisions on a day-by-day basis.
I think it was our darkest moment, but the team around us made sure we were never in the dark with terms of information about what was actually happening. Meg and I were in this zone of one more day. One more, we keep her in for one more day, more gestation and more maturity in the inside, better chances of survival. And it's a terrible way to have to think as newly becoming parents. Meg ended up lasting for 2.5 weeks, which is incredible. So I think we got that far and then it was kind of go time.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, it was up to us. At that point, I think Amalia had also stopped growing in my uterus. The advice was like, well, it's actually safer for her on the outside than in the inside. So I delivered at 25 weeks and 4 days. And when she was born, she was actually 501 grams. I was terrified.
First met Megan, Amalia and the family a couple of days after she was born. I actually knew she was coming, so I'd heard a lot about her before she was even born. We work very, very closely with our obstetric and maternal fetal medicine colleagues. So we'll often come together as a big multidisciplinary group and talk about upcoming high-risk deliveries, babies that might need our special attention. So Amalia from very early on was quite growth restricted, and that presents challenges for a newborn baby that's born preterm.
Tim was one of Amalia's neonatologists in the NICU. She was on a ventilator for 6.5 weeks.
Any baby that's born at just 500 grams is going to need a lot of intensive care and is going to need the highest level of care. And Amalia was no different. She needed support with her breathing, she needed support with her blood pressure, and she just needed support with her growth over many, many weeks.
So Amalia was in the NICU for 4.5 months. She had a lot of firsts in the NICU. Her first bath, the first time she wore clothes, the first time she tried milk, they put it on a little cotton bud and she can suck it from there. Tim was the one who actually told us that she was going to be extubated, which means they take out her breathing tube and she starts to breathe for herself. And I remember the day that he told us, I think I burst into tears. I couldn't believe it because she just had such a rough journey up until that point. Jordan got his first cuddle that day, which was so special. So once she got extubated, it was a huge step forward. She came home 3 months after her due date, which was a little bit longer, but that's okay. We were so lucky that we actually got to bring her home. On our journey in the NICU, I think one of the things we were shocked to find out was that the majority of the equipment is funded by donations. Equipment in the NICU is so expensive and so highly specialised that it just makes all the difference to these tiny babies' lives.
The NICU at the Royal is like no other nursery in New South Wales. It looks after a lot of very, very small babies like Amalia. One of the biggest challenges that we face is trying to find spaces for all of the babies that need our highly specialised care. We get requests from all over the state to look after very tiny babies, so it's critical that we have enough space for these babies, and at the moment we need another bed to try and look after all the babies that we need to provide care for.
Since we've been discharged home, we're still very much in touch with the Royal. Amalia is very closely monitored for the first 12 months of her life. She's still on a bit of oxygen at night, so we have regular appointments for that. She's also on a feeding tube, as you can see, just to help her get all the nutrients into her body while she still learns to eat and drink. Being back to the hospital is actually something that we really enjoy. We get a very special feeling when you walk through those doors.
Georgie was a constant present throughout this whole journey.
Without Georgie, it would have been a lot harder.
The NICU was our home for a long time. The nurses, the staff, all the paediatricians, even the cleaning staff, the receptionists, they became part of our family.
Because I've developed preeclampsia, I'm highly likely to get it again with any future pregnancies. I'll be very closely monitored. So the Royal is funding a virtual maternity clinic. This would mean that women, not only in Sydney, but also rurally as well, they can be monitored from home. There's no need to go in for daily checks.
When we're monitoring a woman with medical complications of pregnancy, a lot of our monitoring is very basic. It requires us to watch the blood pressure, listen to the woman tell us about her symptoms. And a lot of that could be done by women who are committed to their own care, with home blood pressure monitoring, with virtual consultations on a regular basis. That would allow women to stay in their own homes, eat their own food, which is going to be much better than hospital food, sleep in their own beds, continue to interact with their families. And all of that is very, very good for their well-being.
We met families from all across New South Wales, different backgrounds, and I think future funding into this virtual maternity clinic would help families from across New South Wales not having to come into the Royal, being more comfortable at home and having the same exceptional care. I think Amalia is testament to the Royal. The staff there, the funding of previous years that have led them to have such incredible equipment that gave her the best shot at life, and we're excited to see where her journey goes next. She's thriving, but she would not be here if it wasn't for the NICU, and I think every day we are thankful